Continuing now, Charles Krauthammer, who is in Washington this evening. So Nancy Reagan has passed. Funeral will be in California Friday morning. What's her legacy to you, Charles?
Well, I think for one thing, she was a model of elegance, style, and steel all at the same time. I thought she brought a certain dignity to the office of First Lady. But behind the scenes, as everyone who knows, who followed the Reagan administration, she was the backbone. She was the one person he listened to in the end. In fact, it was said of Reagan that he had only one friend in the world, and that was Nancy. And we all know that in the second term, he helped to engineer, she helped to engineer the firing of Donald Reagan as his chief of staff. She felt that he was ill-served by that. That was one of the titanic battles.
No, Reagan denies that, and if, you know, in killing Reagan, we have a letter that Ronald Reagan actually wrote saying that Nancy didn't have anything to do with Donald Reagan's firing, although our research shows that you're correct, that she certainly did. But you know what was interesting about my research into Nancy Reagan? I believe she's the most fascinating character in the book. Even more fascinating than the president. It's close, because she evolved into this great hero when President Reagan became ill after he left the White House. And what she did in the latter part of his life was very quiet, but so stunningly noble. And I'm glad I had the opportunity to bring that to people.
Well, really, it's a sort of a bookend effect. She was also noble and steely when he was shot, the very beginning of his presidency.
That's for sure.
Can you imagine you spent all these years running, campaigning, sacrificing, you get into office, you're ready to act, you're ready to do things, and then he almost is killed.
Right.
So I thought she showed that very early on. And then I thought her ex-first ladyship, the later years when he was in decline, was truly a display of heroism.
Yes.
That is really hard to do. Anybody who's had to live with the decline, essentially you're losing your soulmate. As the personality disappears, that's the story of Alzheimer's. And the pain of that is sort of incalculable. And I thought she handled it with exceptional dignity. And that's why I think people admire her so.
And, you know, she had the breast cancer situation and became public with that, as did Betty Ford. And she had the Just Say No, which I thought was, and I wish they had continued that with the kids and the drugs. So I think that she is a great American patriot who lived her life in a totally unique way. And her evolution from kind of a shallow person in the beginning to a true hero at the end is really worth noting. Last word on her.
I think she had that same effect on her husband. He was sort of lost and adrift when he met her. She sort of helped to put his life together. She was, you know, the force he could rely on when he became the governor of California, then when he ran, when he lost in '76, when he ran again, and then through a difficult presidency, starting with an assassination attempt, and she was there all the way. I think history is going to attribute quite a lot of his success and his perseverance to her influence on him.
Charles, thank you as always. We appreciate it.